So good afternoon to this afternoon this session Sutta class. So I will start with the Sutta class. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Buddhaṃ dhammang sanghang namasami. So today we are doing this Sammādiṭṭhisutta. It's on right views, and this sutta is quite a long sutta. It's cover Four Noble Truths and also dependent origination, and it's a quite a deep sutta. But I think it is important to have some understanding, the idea, of right view. Even though we not yet arrived at that level, but at least we have some ideas. So I will start reading this. Thus have I heard, on one occasion the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove Anathapindika Parks. There the Venerable Sāriputta addressed the bhikkhus thus, and this teaching is not from the Buddha, actually it's from Venerable Sāriputta. Friends, bhikkhus, friend, they reply. The Venerable Sāriputta said this, one of right view, one of right view. Said friends, in what way is a noble disciple one of right views, whose view is straight and who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma and has arrived at this true Dhamma? So when he said that someone has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, that means it's referred to the first stage of enlightenment, Sotapanna, because there is already don't have the identity view, and then be able to see non-self. And then one of the lower factors says no more having doubt, so they have the unwavering confidence. So there is is referred to Sotapanna. And indeed, friend, we will come from far away to learn from Venerable Sāriputta the meaning of this statement. It would be good if Venerable Sāriputta would explain the meaning of this statement. Having heard it from him, the bhikkhus will remember it. Then, friends, listen and attend closely to what I shall say. Yes, friend, the bhikkhus replied. Venerable Sāriputta said this. When friends and noble disciples understand the unwholesome and the root of the unwholesome, the wholesome and the root of wholesome, in that way he, one of right view, whose view is straight, who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma and has arrived at this true Dhamma. There's someone knowing that what is being skillful and unskillful. When we talk about skillful, someone says, oh, if I'm skilled at cooking, they say I'm skilled. Actually, when this is talk about skillful and unskillful, it's more referring to a behavior conduct, like it's not referring to what they are skilled at, There's something that is like our action, our behavior, our conduct, that leading us to suffering. So, and then he continues that. And what, friends, is the unwholesome? What is the root of the unwholesome? What is the wholesome and what is the root of unwholesome? So, killing beings is unwholesome. Taking what is not given is unwholesome. Misconduct in sensual pleasure is unwholesome. False speech is unwholesome. Malicious speech is unwholesome. Harsh speech is unwholesome. Gossip is unwholesome. Covetousness is unwholesome. Evil is unwholesome. Wrong view is unwholesome. This is called the unwholesome. You see, it's only for the first four precepts, then it's come to like ill view is unwholesome, and then wrong view, and then they didn't include the fifth one, like taking alcohol, intoxicate, any drugs, and he didn't put it in there, and they have only the fourth. You see, that even false speech they have four. They have the false speech is. They have the four types, like malicious speech, that is speech that is splitting people, and then bring disharmony to people, to the community. Harsh speech that is very not pleasing to the ears. Is gossip is something, this idle chatter. And covetousness is like like greed, very strong greed, covetousness. So maybe it's the like taking alcohol, intoxication, all this I think is go under this covetousness. And actually, the action itself, like, for the action itself, like taking alcohol, the action itself is not being immoral by itself. But after taking alcohol, it causes you to do something that is immoral. So they said sometimes I remember someone told me that someone been arguing with not taking alcohol is it's okay because it's not immoral by itself. Yes, the action itself is not immoral, but after taking alcohol or any drugs, that effect of that alcohol and drugs that leads you to commit unskillful act or harming others, you will break the other easily. You break the other 4 precepts, So that's why. Even though the act itself is not immoral, but it will lead to unwholesome, unskillful action. So then, and it's go on to say, and what is the root of the unwholesome? So the root of this unskillful is unskillfulness. Being unskillful is because of our greed. Greed is the root of the unwholesome. Hate is the root of unwholesome. Delusion is the root of unwholesome. It's called the root of unwholesome. Because of greed, because of greed, sometimes you end up stealing, doing all this unwholesome act. And hate, because of anger, we get upset. We might, ended up hitting someone or doing something that's been harmful, killing, and this is the root of the unwholesome. This leading cause the act of the unskillful act, and this is called the root of the unwholesome. Delusion, because of delusion, that's why we have greed and hatred. They said the Buddha said, anger, he said, this greed is blamable, is less blamable, but it's difficult to remove. He said, anger, hatred is blamable, but it's easy to remove. Ignorant, delusion is very blamable and it's very difficult to remove, because like greed. Because they give you, like for example, we have greed, like even sometimes we greed for sensual pleasure. That I'm not harming anyone. I just greed for my sensual pleasure. That is less blame. That's why the Buddha said less blame. But it's very difficult to remove because it's pleasant, isn't it? But anger itself, like people don't like people to be angry, isn't it? Even angry person also don't like themselves being angry, Then you would, and it's more a predominant emotion. You just, you easily will work on it, And it's also, especially greed. Sometimes so subtle greed is very difficult to see, but anger is more prominent. You be able to see, and then that it causes you suffering. They said, the Buddha said, anger is easy to remove, and then delusion, of course, because of delusion, you have greed and hatred. That's the anger. That's why he said that the delusion actually is very blamable and very difficult to remove, because all our unwholesome, unskillful action is come from because our delusion. Because the fact that we have greed, we have anger, is come from, our delusion. We are not knowing, And so then he go to, and what is the wholesome? So after it's normally you look at he talk about the unwholesome first, then he talk about the wholesome. So what is the wholesome? The wholesome will be the opposite. That is abstention from killing. Living beings is wholesome, and abstention from taking what is not given is wholesome. Abstention from misconduct in sensual pleasure is wholesome. So abstention from false speech is wholesome. So you abstain yourself from malicious speech is wholesome. Abstention from harsh speech is wholesome. So from gossip is wholesome, and then covetousness is wholesome. So you abstain yourself from doing this. This is the opposite, not doing. Not doing things that is unskillful is being skillful. This is the opposite. So non-evil is wholesome. Right view is wholesome, and this is called the wholesome. So because if you have wrong view, you also because of ill will, also you will do something that is unskillful. And also right view, you don't have right view if you have wrong view. Wrong view, like for example, we holding on to our views, attach our own views, we think we are right, and then that also causes, because come from the ego, the sense of self, and that also leads us to suffering, also leads us to commit, doing things that is unskillful. Then he said, what is the root of wholesome? So that is the opposite. Non-greed is the root of the wholesome. Non-hate is the root of the wholesome. And non-delusion is the root of the wholesome. And this is called the root of wholesome. So that means this is something that is the root of being skillful. When a noble disciple has thus understood, if you understand, someone is understood what is wholesome and the root of the wholesome, and the root of the unwholesome, what understood the unwholesome and the root of the unwholesome, and the wholesome and the root of the wholesome, he entirely abandons the underlying tendencies to lust. He's abolished the underlying tendency to aversion. He extirpates the underlying tendency to views and concept I am by abandoning it ignorant and arousing true knowledge here and now, and makes end of suffering. In that way, too, a noble disciple is one of right views, who views is straight, who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So because of if we understand that, what something that is unwholesome, what is wholesome, what that is the causes us, the leading us to suffering, and then that's why people abandon the underlying tendency, that the last aversion, all this unwholesome act that leads us to more suffering, and also the tendency to the views, and the concept I am, because all this is come from I am, isn't it? And whenever we suffer, when we investigate, it always we are the one who, create the suffering ourselves. And this is because of the conceit, the I am, that because of the me and mine, because of our ego, also that also causes us doing something that is unwholesome. And by abandoning the ignorant and arousing the true knowledge, here and now, and makes an end of suffering. In that way, too, a noble disciple is one of right view, whose view is straight, and who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So because sometimes the fact that we being unskillful, doing things that unwholesome, because we don't understand that, we don't understand this leading us to suffering. We don't see that, we don't understand. That's why we do it. That's why the Buddha said we always, we understand the problem, but we are not trying to get rid of the problem. That's why we understand that being unwholesome, what it leads us to. When we understand, it's easy to let go. That's why sometimes people said to me, oh, I understand this caused me suffering, but I still can't let it go. But because sometimes we think we understood, but we only understood the concept. We are not truly, understand, that is, the concept, but we're not seeing it, with that clear, we have with the clarity, we are not trained seeing it. So sometimes you see some of the things that we paper, the moment we see why we cling on to this, but if you really see it, actually you cannot let go very quick, isn't it? But if you can't see it, even though you keep telling yourself, no, this is caused me suffering, shouldn't do it, you can't help it, you still do it, because of come from the sense of self too. So then now it's go on to So saying, good friend, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's words. Then he asked him a further question, but friend, might there be any way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. And then when friends, a noble disciple understand nutriments, you see, if I understand nutriments, the origin of nutriments, the cessation of nutriment, and the way leading to the cessation of nutriment, in that way he's one of right view, has arrived at this true Dhamma. Nutriment. What is nutriment? So anything you have nutriment, you have nutrients, you feed it, it grows, isn't it? So that's why you have to understand what is nutriment, and you have to know what is the origin, what is the cause of this nutriment, and what is the cessation of the nutriment, and what is the way of leading to the cessation of nutriment. And there are 4 kinds of nutriments for maintenance of beings that already have come to be, and for the support of those who come to be. What for? There are the nutriments that is our physical food, isn't it? We need food. And as nutriments, whether it's gross or subtle. Contact as a second nutriment. Because and then the mental volition. So that is the view, as a third, nutriments. And the consciousness as the 4th. So with this, that's like this is the food, that's like because if you come to without the physical, we have the nutriment for the physical body, and then the contact is the nutriment, because without contact, nothing arises. You have to have the contact, feeling, other things arises, perception, and mental volition is a view, wanting to live, wanting to be is there, that is keep us going, that is the nutriment. And then consciousness as the 4th. So with the arising of craving, that is the arising of nutriment because of the craving. When the craving is there, and then you have the nutriment. The nutriment come from craving. You crave. We want to be here. We want to be. We want to be here because of the craving. That's why this arises. So we come into being, and then we have the contact, and then we have these mental volitions and the consciousness. So the way leading to the cessation of nutriment is just this Noble Four Path, and that is the right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right stillness. So that again, Noble Four Path, practice Noble Path is a way for the cessation of this nutriment. And when a noble disciple has thus understood nutriment, the origin of nutriment, the cessation of nutriment, and the way leading to the cessation of nutriment, he entirely abandons the underlying tendency to greed. He abolishes the underlying tendencies to aversion. He extirpates the underlying tendency to views and concept I am. By abandoning ignorant and arousing true knowledge, he, here, and now makes an end of suffering. In that way, too, a noble disciple is of one right view. Those right view is straight and who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma and has arrived at this true Dhamma. Saying, good friend, the bhikkhus delighted and happy, satisfied with what Sāriputta explained, and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's words. And then they asked him a further question. But friends, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When friends, a noble disciple, understands suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, the way leading to cessation of suffering, in that way, he's one of right view and has arrived at this right view. Now he's come to the Four Noble Truth, that because we don't understand suffering, because sometimes we think suffering we perceive as happiness. So we keep, pursuing, keep, attached. We think that this is bringing us suffering. We don't understand suffering. We don't see that is what is causes us the suffering. That's why because we don't understand, that, that's why we will keep coming back, because we still keep doing the same thing again and again. For example, things that we don't see that is a suffering, we repeat the same thing. Of course, we got the same results, That's why the understanding of the suffering, and then you have to know the cause of the suffering, and then the way leading to suffering and the ending of the suffering. So this is then they said that in that way too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma, saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta was they asked him further questions. That another way did I miss it? Oh, sorry, I missed it, sorry. Saying, good friends, bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta was they asked him further questions. There might be another way. So he talked about this: understand suffering, the origin of suffering, and the cessation of suffering, and the way leading to the cessation of suffering. In that way, he's one of right views and arrived at this true Dhamma. So, and what is suffering? What is origin of suffering? What is the cessation of suffering? What is the way leading to cessation of suffering? Birth is suffering. Because being born, is suffering. They said the fact that we old age, we get sick. If without body, without being born, we don't have this problem, And this is the birth, is the cause, is the suffering. Aging is suffering, sickness is suffering, death is suffering, sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, despair are suffering. Not to obtain what one wants is suffering. In short, the 5 aggregates affected by clinging are suffering. This is called suffering. So basically, getting what we want also we suffer. We don't get what we want also suffer, isn't it? Even if we get what we want, and then we want more and more, isn't it? It never ends. And then you see people ended up, that each time when we feed our craving, essential desires, and then next time we want more and more excitement, to a point that, people do weird things because, ordinary things, normal things do not excite them anymore. You want more, and eventually it will bring you suffering because there's no end. And then, but not getting what we want also will suffer. So they said and in short, the 5 aggregates. What are the 5 aggregates? The 5 aggregates is our body, feelings, perception, feelings, pleasure, unpleasant, that causes the feelings, and then that cause suffering, whether we like it, we don't like it. Perception, so perception is a label, we label this, we perceive what is this, and we start to label, perception, and then come to feelings, vedana, and then sanya, perception, and then we come to this mental volition. Mental volition is a view, our view, we want to live. The will to live. This is the 5 aggregates, the body, feelings, perception, and mental formations and consciousness. These are the 5. Aggregates, and these 5 aggregates come from clinging. Clinging, that is that normally that mostly they translate as attachment. So upadana is called suffering. And what is the origin of suffering? It is craving, come from craving. And then, which beings renewal of beings is accompanied by delight and lust and delight in this and that, and craving for sensual desire, sensual pleasure, and craving for beings, and craving for non-being, and this is called origin of suffering. So it's come from craving. So there are 3 types of craving. You craving our sensory pleasure, that we crave for that, the craving for our sensory pleasure. And then so we take delights in that. We take delights in people or in object, the things that we like. That is all the, our sensory is come from the sensory pleasure. That we craving for that. And then the craving for being, craving to be, craving for being, and craving not being. So craving to be, to be being, and craving not non-being. And actually, we want to be here. We want to be reborn. We want to be here. We want to being here. So this is the cause. This is the craving and bring us here. And this is the origin of suffering. We suffer because our craving. We want to be here. We want to be exist. And the craving craving for non-being. So craving, like for example, if we try to end our suffering with our sense of self, we think that, okay, I'm going to end my suffering. Then it comes from your ego. It's almost like, I'm using I to kill I. And let's give you an example. We have someone that be able to recollect her past life. And because of she able to recollect a past life, and then she just so much, she's her very strong craving to want to end her suffering. So I want to end. So I do want to be reborn. I do want to come back again, non-being, try to end her suffering. So she practiced even harder. She tried so hard, the harder she practiced, she ended up, she become very sick because of she using so much willpower. She think that I meditate more, I'm going to get enlightened, I'm going to end my life, I'm not going to reborn again. Then actually she don't see that actually you craving not to being actually non-being actually is still craving. That is still is there. The ego is still there, that I just don't want this, and it's still craving. So this is the Buddha, and the Sāriputta said this is called the origin of suffering. And what is the cessation of suffering? It is the remainderless fading away and ceasing and giving up, relinquish, letting go, rejecting of the same craving. This is called cessation of suffering. So when we be able to let it go, to give up, to relinquish, to let go of that craving. So when we be able to let that go and to relinquish that, to renounce, and that is the cessation of suffering. So if we can't let go, that is we can't stop our suffering. If suffering is there. That's why sometimes people said that, why I know that it's suffering, but I still can't let it go. I mean, sometimes we understand on the theoretical level, but actually you have to really see it, like the mind see itself. That is the true understanding. When you understand and you see that, and then you be able to let it go, the craving is it. But if you can't really see that, it's very difficult. You still, in theory, you understand the concept of craving will bring you suffering, but you still crave. And what is the cessation of suffering? And this is already done. Now come to 18. And what is the way leading to cessation of suffering? It is just this Noble Eightfold Path, and there is right view, right concentration, and so on and so on. And again, is mentioned again, is practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. So to end the suffering, the cessation of suffering, so you have to practice the Noble Eightfold Path. It's not just only meditation, or sometimes people think that, only if I attain jhana, they say, so not yet, not yet. So some people think, I remember someone think that she sometimes people just have one or two experience of jhana. Actually, they just give you a taste, a glimpse of that. It's not yet. And because even you're in the state, you have to be long enough, be suppressed long enough, If not long enough, very easy, the five hindrances come back again, And then it's just that you need that, It's just that the prerequisites, for the wisdom, you need that. The still mind in that state, but it's still not an attainment yet. It's a foundation for the wisdom. It's not yet, But some people think that it's entertainment. I remember someone said to me that she feel very guilty. She come to me. She said, I attained jhana and I confirm with Ajahn Brahm already. But what happened? I still interested, to see all the hot guys, I still interested. She feel, I feel so guilty, feel so bad. Like she think that, I'm a certain attainment, I shouldn't have this. I said, no, it's just like when you're in that state, your defilements only temporarily suppressed. It's not that permanently removed, not yet. But you need to have the still mind, the clarity, to be able to penetrate through, be able to see that non-self. But that is the prerequisite, that is you need that, but it's not attainment. So I told her, don't worry, not yet, you're not attainment. I said, of course you still have it, Oh, she feel better. She feel, so funny, she feel guilty. Like she said, oh, I supposed to have done, I'm not supposed to have this, So there's again, he said, way leading to the cessation is a noble path. So when a noble disciple has thus understood suffering, the origin of suffering, the cessation of suffering, and the way leading to the cessation of suffering, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way, too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. Saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in the Venerable Sāriputta's words. Then they asked him a further question. But friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When friends, a noble disciple, understand aging and death, the origin of aging and death, the cessation of aging and death, the way leading to the cessation of aging and death, that's arrived at the true Dhamma. So our suffering is come from aging, death, you go, So then he said, what is aging and death? What is the origin of aging and death? What is the cessation of aging and death? What is the way leading to cessation of aging and death? The aging of beings in various orders of beings, the old age, broken of teeth, grayness of hair, wrinkling of skin, decline of life, weakness of faculties, and this is called aging. The passing of beings out of the various orders of beings, they're passing away, dissolution, disappearance, dying, completion of time, dissolution of the aggregates, lying down of the body, this is called that. So this aging and this death are what is called aging and death. And with the arising, so we suffer because of we have this body, we will age, we will sick, we will die. But why we suffer? Why we go through aging and death? Because of the arising of birth. And this is, you see the suffering, he talked about Four Noble Truths. Now it's going into the dependent origination. That is birth. It comes from birth, you see. You can see that is a link, Afterwards you can see it go on and on the link. And with the arising of birth, there is arising of aging and death. And with the cessation of birth, there is the cessation of aging and death. And the way leading to the cessation of aging and death is just the Noble Four Path. That is a right view, right intention, and so on, right livelihood, to right stillness. And so that is the way out is, again, Noble Four Path. So practice Noble Four Path. And when a noble disciple has thus understood aging and death, the origin of aging and death, the cessation of aging and death, the way leading to the cessation of aging and death, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way too, noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So birth, without birth, So we don't have aging. So that the origin, the cause of that is because of birth, because of we want to be reborn, we want to be here. That's why we suffer. So we want to come here. That's why we suffer. That is come from birth, you see. Saying, so now we come to birth. Saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's words. Then he asked him a further question. But friends, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When, friends, a noble disciple understands birth, the origin of birth, the cessation of birth, the way leading to the cessation of birth, and in that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is birth? And what is the origin of birth? And what is the cessation of birth? And what is the way leading to the cessation of birth? And the birth of beings in various orders of beings that come into birth, precipitation, that is in the womb, as generations, manifestations of aggregates, obtaining the basis of contact. This is called birth. And with the arising of beings, there is a rising of birth. And with the cessation of beings, there is a cessation of birth. The way leading to the cessation of birth is just the Noble Eightfold Path, and that is the right view, and so on, and to the right stillness. So that is also because of the being, because we want to come back, we want to be here. Again, you see, that is this is come to the dependent origination. So when a noble disciple has thus understood birth, the origin of birth, the cessation of birth, the way leading to the cessation of birth, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way too, noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So then it comes to birth because of we want to be here, we want to be because of we want to be here. So it's a being here. So saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's word. Then he asked him a further question. But friends, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is of one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When, friends, a noble disciple understands being the origin of beings, the cessation of beings, the way leading to the cessation of beings, and in that way he's one of right views who has arrived at this right view. So he's fully understand, beings and the origin, the cause of beings and the cessation of beings, the way leading. If someone is understand that, then understand what beings, origin of beings, the cessation of beings, and the way leading to cessation of beings. In that way, he's one of right view and have arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is being? And what is the origin of beings? What is the cessation of beings? What is the way leading to the cessation of beings? There is these three kinds of beings. So three kinds that is in the sense sphere beings, that is like animals realms, human realms, even in Deva realms also they have sense, they have this also sense sphere. They still have the likes and happy likes and dislikes, that's. And then another one is the five material beings, that is the jhana realms. When someone when you're in jhana, then you pass away, you reborn in the Brahma realm, that is a jhana realm. And that is immaterial realms, that is a arupa jhana. Then there's the anagami who will stay in that realm. So with the arising, so this is a three, there's a three kinds of beings, So of course, very familiar, we all in the sense sphere, beings, animals also. And then with the arising of clinging, it's come from the clinging. That is the arising of beings. With the cessation of clinging, and that is the cessation of beings. The way leading to cessation of beings is just the Noble Eightfold Path and the right views, and so on to right stillness. So Ajahn Brahm would he prefer not to use clinging, he preferred to use a fuel. It's just like, because he said it's just like, the light, the oil is the fuel. Because if the oil is there, the fuel is there, the light is go on. So when we do the chanting, then how the fire extinguished when we have no more fuel, so the fire's gone. So that's why he preferred to use a fuel for this, clinging, the upatana, clinging. So when the noble disciples have thus understood beings, the origin of beings, the cessation of beings, and the way leading to the cessation of beings, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So that's why it come from a being. Being is because our some explain as that being is because come from our attachment, our clinging, that so strong, that I think many translation the upatana they translate as attachment. But Ajahn Brahm preferred to use the words of fuel, clinging. That's why we are here, being here. So this is the origin of that, because of rising of clinging is the cause of that. That's why we are being here. So, saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in the Venerable Sāriputta's words, and they asked him a further questions. But friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When friends, a noble disciples understand clinging, you understand what is this fuel and the original of fuel and the cessation of fuel and the way leading to cessation of fuel. In that way, he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So, and what is clinging? So, what is clinging? What is the origin of clinging? What is the cessation of clinging? What is the leading to cessation of clinging? So, there are 4 kinds of clinging. We clinging to essential pleasure, clinging to our views. That's why sometimes people argue, that I'm right, and people against is very upset because my views is right. They cling on to the views that lead to all this argument. I'm right, and clinging to rules and observant clinging to rules. That means that you're thinking that it's just enough being a good person. That's it, being a good person. So just keeping the precept, So I'm okay, and everything okay as long as I'm a good person. So, and this is the and then clinging to and the observance. This is like certain practice, Like for example, in India, some people do the dog or cows practice, that they think that they're doing this kind of practice that will lead them to free liberations, because the hard things, then they will reborn in a, they will not get reborn or reborn in a good place, that this is what they believe in, doing certain, that there are all sorts of things in there. Some don't even be naked, they're not dressing, or they don't lie down, they only, sit or one leg, there are all kinds of, it's happened also ascetics, like dog ascetics, they practice like that. They behave like a dog or they behave like a cow, So they believe that, So this is also clinging to rules and observances and clinging to doctrine of self. That is, you believe that is a self. This is me and mine, This is I am. That is a self, That is that eternal self is there. That you believe in that. That is clinging to the doctrine of selves. And with the arising of craving, there is the arising of clinging. And with the cessation of craving, you see, it's come from craving again. You see, you can see it's craving. There's like craving is the one who really, lead us to keep bringing us back. You see, you can see this is come from craving. There is cessation of clinging. So the way leading to the cessation of clinging is just this noble eightfold path. So the way to get out of it, to get out of this is again, you see, each one. Again, the Buddha said, practice noble eightfold path, noble eightfold path, noble eightfold path. No other way. You have to take out the whole path again and again and again. So there is Noble Eightfold Path, there is right views, and so on to right stillness. So when a noble disciple has thus understood clinging, the origin of clinging, the cessation of clinging, the way leading to cessation of clinging, he here and now makes an end of suffering in that way too. Noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So then come to clinging and come from our clinging, our clinging attachment is come from craving. Craving is the origin of clinging. So good friend saying, good friend, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta was, and they asked him further questions. But friend, might there be another way in which noble disciples is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When friends, noble disciples understand craving, the origin of craving, the cessation of craving, the way leading to cessation of craving, and the way in that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So that's why you can see, if without this stop, that stop. When you have this, you're arising of this, you have this. When you have this, you will have that. That is so. But only by this stop, this will end. So it's again one after another. You see, this end, that end. You have this, you will have that. So, and what is craving and what is origin of craving and the cessation of craving, the way leading the cessation of craving. So there are these 6 classes of craving. So we craving for forms, craving for sound, we like to see things, we crave for see nice things, beautiful scene, whatever. We like to see things that, we have craving to see, forms, things that we like to see, or maybe something, that like to see beautiful girls, or picture, or whatever, forms, with the physical eyes, So we craving for sounds, we want to listen to nice music, we want to listen to, music, songs, and things like that, and craving for audience. We want to smell good, and craving for flavors, taste, craving for tangible things, touch, and also mental object. We crave for that, And with the arising of feelings, so why we crave for that? It's come from feelings. When we have feelings, we start crave. The feelings is with the arising of feelings, there is the arising of craving, because our craving because we have craving is because of feelings. When feeling arises, then we crave. We crave for, pleasant, unpleasant, isn't it? We crave for that, something that is, something that we like, we pleasant, then we crave. So it's because of feelings, Feeling, so that's with the cessation of feeling. So if the feeling cease, and then your craving cease. So with the cessation of feelings, there is a cessation of craving. So the way leading to the cessation of craving is just this Noble Eightfold Path, that is right views, and so on to right stillness. So when a noble disciple has thus understood craving, the origin of craving, the cessation of craving, and the way leading to cessation of craving, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way too, noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So now it's come to craving, because craving is because of feeling arises. So now we come to feelings. Saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's word. Then he asked him a further questions, but friends, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When friends, a noble disciple, understand feelings, the origin of feelings, the cessation of feelings, the way leading to the cessation of feelings, and that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is feelings? What is the origin of feelings? What is the cessation of feelings? What is the way leading to cessation of feelings? There are 6 classes of feelings. Feelings born of the eyes contact because come from contact, the eye contact, born of ear contact, feeling born of nose contact, feelings born of tongue contact, feelings born of body contact, feelings born of mind contact. Because of the contact, feeling arises. That's why with the arisings of contact, that is arisings of feelings. Without the contact, without the contact, feelings will not arise. When that is a contact, feeling arises, isn't it? Whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, and it's through our 6 sense base, that is a contact, and feeling arises. So that's why with the cessation of the contact, that is the cessation of feelings. The way leading to the cessation of feelings is just the Noble Eightfold Path, and that is its right view, and so on, and then to right concentration, to right stillness. So when a noble disciple has thus understood feelings, the origin of feelings, the cessation of feelings, and the way leading to the cessation of feelings, he here and now makes an end of suffering. And that way too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So the feeling arises because of the arising of context. So if a context, there's no, the feeling arises because of the arising of context. So that context is a cause of, that is the origin of the feelings. So saying, good friends, bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in the Venerable Sāriputta's word, and then he asked him a further questions. But friend, might there be another way in which noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. So when friends, a noble disciple understands contact, the origin of contact, the cessation of contact, the way leading to the cessation of contact, in that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is contact? And what is the origin of contact? And what is the cessation of contact? What is the way leading to the cessation of contact? That is the 6 classes of contacts. The eye contact, ear contact, nose contact, tongue contact, body contact, mind contact. With the arising of the 6-fold base, because of we have our eyes base, ear base. So without this, there's no contact, isn't it? We have to have our eyes. We have the eyes be able to see we have to have the eyes base and have the object, and then contact arising. So we have to have this. Without, if we can't see, we can't see, we don't have the eye contact. So ear contact, body contact. So we have to have these 6 classes of contact. This is arising of 6-fold base. We have this 6-fold base. That is our eyes base, ear base, tongue, touching, body contact, and the way leading to cessation of contact is just the Noble Eightfold Path. That is again right view, and so on to right stillness. So the fact that the arising of contact is come from the arising of the 6-fold base, because of we have the 6 sense base that give that arising of the contact. So then when a noble disciple has understood, because the cessation of the 6-fold base, if we don't have the 6-fold base, then we don't have have the cessation of the contact. So when the noble disciple has thus understood contact, the origin of contact, the cessation of contact, and the way leading to the cessation of contact, he here and now makes an end in that. In that way too, noble disciples is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So from contact, it comes to 6-fold base, because the fact that we have contacts, because we have our sixth sense base, that contact arises. So without our sixfold base, our sixth sense base, so that contact will not arise. So, and you see, one thing leading to another. Without it, we don't have that. We have to have this in order to have this. Saying, good friend, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in the Venerable Sāriputta's work. Then he asked him a further question, but friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. When friends, a noble disciples understand the sixfold base, the origin of sixfold base, the cessation of the sixfold base, and the way leading to cessation of the sixfold base, in that way, he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is the sixfold base? What is the origin of the sixfold base? What is the cessation of the sixfold base? What is the way leading to the cessation of sixfold base? There are six bases, that is the eyes base, ear base, nose base, tongue base, body base, and mind base. So with the arising of, we have this because of we have the body and mind, that is the mentality and materiality. Without this, we don't have this, isn't it? We have this body only, we have all these eye, ears, we have all this sixfold base. So because with arising of that, with our mentality, there is a mind, and the materiality, there is a body, and there is a cessation. So with the cessation of this mentality and materiality, and there is a cessation of the sixfold base, because of we have this body and mind, that's why we have this sixfold base. Without this, we don't have this. So we have this, that's why we have that. If we don't have this, we don't have that. So that's why this stop. So that's why with the cessation of the mentality and materiality, there is a cessation of the sixfold base. The way leading to the cessation of the sixfold base is just this Noble Four Path. That is to practice a Noble Four Path, right views, and so on to right stillness. So when a noble disciple has thus understood the sixfold base, the origin of the sixfold base, the cessation of the sixfold base, and the way leading to the cessation of the sixfold base, he, here and now, makes an end of suffering. In that way too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So from the sixfold base, because of we have this mentality and materiality, that is this body, and we have this mind, that's why we have this sixfold base. So, saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's work. Then he asked him a further question, but friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. So when friends, a noble disciple understands mentality and materiality, the origin of mentality and materiality, the cessation of mentality and materiality, and the way leading to cessation of mentality and materiality, in that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So, and what is mentality and materiality? What is the origin of mentality and materiality? And what is the cessation of mentality and materiality? What is the way leading to the cessation of mentality and materiality? Feeling, perception, volition. Volition, that's the view, contact, attention. So this called mentality. So, and the four great elements. So our body is made up of four great elements: earth elements, fire elements, water elements, and air elements. So it's derived from the great four elements, that is called materiality. Materiality, the body, there is four elements, made up of four elements, and then the mentality, that is feeling, perception, volition, and contact. But the fact that we have all that because the arising of consciousness. So actually these all have to go together. You have the consciousness and the feeling and the perception and volition all together. Because the fact that you have to have the consciousness. Because with the contact, with the consciousness, the eye consciousness is not there, ear consciousness is not there. So there are together, coming together. So this mentality and this materiality is called mentality and materiality. This with the arising of consciousness. So there is the arising of mentality and materiality with the cessation of consciousness. Because they have no more consciousness, nothing to be no consciousness, there is the cessation of consciousness, there is the cessation of mentality and materiality. The way leading to the cessation of mentality and materiality is just this Noble Eightfold Path, that is right view. Again and again is practice Noble Eightfold Path, that is right view and right to the right stillness. So when a noble disciple has thus understood mentality and materiality, the origin of mentality and materiality, the cessation of mentality and materiality, and the way leading to the cessation of mentality and materiality, he here and now makes an end of suffering in that way too. Noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So from the mentality and materiality, is many people that translate as body and mind. So then because of the arising of consciousness. So this is because with the consciousness, that's right, we have this mentality and materiality. So now we come to consciousness. Saying good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's word. Then he asked him a further question, but friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be, friends. So when friends, a noble disciple understand consciousness, the origin of consciousness, the cessation of consciousness, the way leading to the cessation of consciousness, and that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is consciousness? What is the origin of consciousness? What is the cessation of consciousness? What is the way leading to cessation of consciousness? So there are 6 classes of consciousness. Eye consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. There are 6 classes of consciousness. So that's why even with the 6 sense base, you also have to have the consciousness only arise when there is a contact. So that, that only the consciousness arises. Then you have the eyes consciousness, ear consciousness, nose consciousness, tongue consciousness. So we are arising of, because of the formation. So that is a rising of the consciousness. With the cessation of the formation, there is a cessation of consciousness. The way leading to cessation of consciousness is the way leading the cessation of consciousness is just the Noble Eightfold Path, and that is the right views and so on, and right concentration. So that's with the cessation of, because of the formation. The formation is come from our bodily. What are formations? Bodily, verbal, and mental. So they said the way. The arising of formation, that is arising of consciousness. So with the arising of consciousness, so there is arising of formation. With the arising of formation, with the arising of consciousness. So with the cessation of formation, there is a cessation of consciousness. So the way leading to cessation of consciousness is just the Noble Eightfold Path, that is right views, right concentration, right stillness. And when a noble disciple has thus understood consciousness, the origin of consciousness, the cessation of consciousness, the way leading to cessation of consciousness, he here and now makes an end of suffering in that way too. A noble disciple is one of right views and arrive at this true Dhamma. Saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in the Venerable Sāriputta's words. then they asked him a further questions, but friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be friends. So when friends, a noble disciple, understand formation, the origin of formations, the cessation of formation, the way leading to the cessation of formation, the way leading, in that way, he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And these are, so there are three kinds of formation: bodily formation, verbal formation, mental formation. So this is how our bodily actions, so our speech, so our mental formation, our mental formation, so that is our sankhara, so our thoughts, we're thinking about it, and then how we create that, and then and that is also, that is the mental volition is also the sankhara. Actually, the mental formation is our thoughts, our views, our emotion. So the mind doing, because of this, this is all the mind doing. So through our bodily actions, this is all come with our mind doing, isn't it? We think about it, and our mind go on, and we develop a certain views, how we perceive things, how we all the views and opinions, and all these, and also our the attachment to our views, and it's through this. Through our bodily formation, verbal formation, and mental formation. So the mental formation is come from this come from our thoughts, emotion, and will. So when the noble disciples has thus understood formation, the origin of formations, the cessation of formation, and the way leading to cessation of formation, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way, too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. So, I think I missed this one. The mental, with the arising of ignorant delusion. So that's right, with the arising of formation. So our bodily formations, verbal formations, mental formation, because of our delusion. Because of our delusion, that's why we have the arising of the formation. So the cessation of ignorant delusion, that is the cessation of formation. The way leading to the cessation of formation is just the noble path. That is right views, and so on to right stillness. So when a noble disciple has thus understood formations, the origins of formations, the cessation of formations, and the way leading to the cessation of formations, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way, too, a noble disciples of one of right views have arrived at this true Dhamma. So, because the arising of formations is come from our ignorance, our delusion. So now it's come to ignorance. Saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delight and rejoice in Venerable Sāriputta's words. Then he asked him a further question, but friend, might there be another way in which a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be friends. So when friends and noble disciples understand ignorance, the origin of ignorance, the cessation of ignorance, the way leading to cessation of ignorance, in that way he is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. And what is ignorance? What is the origin of ignorance? What is the cessation of ignorance? What is the way leading to cessation of ignorance? Not knowing about suffering. See, again, come back, not understand the noble path, because when we don't understand, So when we don't understand that, then we create more suffering for ourselves because we keep feeding it. So not knowing about suffering, not knowing about origin of suffering, not knowing about cessation of suffering, not knowing about the way leading to cessation of suffering. This is called ignorance. So I say, like the Buddha said, the wise one, when they see this is as a suffering, but the foolish one, he take this as a happiness. Because we don't see that, we think that is we enjoy this. We see that it's a suffering. But for the noble one, for the Buddha said, for the wise one, they see this as suffering. But the foolish one, the Buddha said, will see it as happiness. So it's opposite because we don't understand. They said this is how we see things differently because we don't understand. This is what is bring us suffering because you don't understand the four. It's again, you see, come to not knowing the Four Noble Truths. So when a noble disciple has just understood ignorance, the origin of ignorance, the cessation of ignorance, and the way leading to the cessation of ignorance, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way too, a noble disciple is one of right views and has arrived at this true Dhamma. Saying, good friends, the bhikkhus delighted and rejoiced in Venerable Sāriputta's word. Then they asked him further questions. But friend, might there be another way in which noble disciples, one of right views, whose view is straight and has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, and has arrived at this true Dhamma? There might be. So when friends, a noble disciple, understand the taints, so the taints, the origin of taints. So the reason why we don't understand suffering, the Four Noble Truths, because of the arising of the taints. He said that the origin of the taints, and the way leading to cessation of the taints, and that in that way he's one of right views, who views is straight, who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma. So, and what are the taints? What is the origin of the taints? The taints actually, there's in Pali they said the asava, there's outflow, mind. There's three kinds of taints. There are three kinds of taints. The taint of sensual desires, the taints of being to be and being not to be is being, and then the taints of ignorance. So that is a three outflow because like the sensual desire, our mind always going out there looking for things, excitement, that going out there. Even being, being me, even we want to say something is being me and mine. For example, I remember when I was Anagarikas, and I realized that sometimes I want to say something, and I realized my motive behind that is like the sense of self. You want to let people, I'm exist, I'm here, I'm being. Even the way we said, whatever we do, the sense of self is there. Even sometimes we want to let others know that That is also the sense of self. I exist. You want to let people know that I exist, So that is being there. So this is the taint of being and the taint of ignorance. Because of this, the sensual desires and the taints of sensual desires, the mind is keep going out. Actually, you have to look. Actually, we look in, but we tend to look out. The mind go out, the outflow of the mind, outflow. And the taints of ignorance is because come from ignorance. So, and with the arising of ignorance, there is arising of the taints. Because of the delusion, our mind keep going, and then we keep blaming others. We keep thinking outside it causes the suffering, but we don't see it's all come in. So when we investigate, when we suffer, it's always never go outside our sense of self, our ego. Actually, we keep thinking that other people cause me suffering, and because of this person said that person said that, that made me angry, they suffered, but we don't see that actually our sense of self, our ego causes suffering. That's why the person said that. Why can't they say it? Just because of me, I'm not like this. I'm someone very kind, and then you said that I'm nasty. very angry. This is again because of the me and mind, the sense of self. Because we have the sense of self, because of the ignorance, we believe that this is me and mine and exists. And this come from ignorance, not knowing the delusion. So this is the three taints, that the outflow of the mind. So so with the cessation of the ignorance, so when we want to cut through the link, not to reborn again, they have to cut through ignorance. Because of not knowing, because of delusion, we keep doing the same thing. Of course, we have the same result. We keep feeding it, So it's just that we in the samsara is go round and round and round. That's why I like the simile that the Buddha gave. He said like we in the samsara, it's just like we threw a bucket into the well, and then it ups and down, and then it round and round. So we have ups and downs, isn't it, in life? Then we go round and round. So we go round and round and round. So it's just like a chain like that. So it's keep going on. But you have to cut through once the chain fall apart, that is the ignorant comfort. Ignorant is the culprit, is the one who, ego says, so what is break? So everything falling apart, no more, So they said the way leading to cessation of the taints, and the taint is just the way is to practice Noble Four Path. That is right views, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right stillness. So again, that's why you can see this is a long suttas, but it's cover Four Noble Truths, and also the dependent origination. So everything, they are not independently. You have to have this. Without this, you don't have that, Like for example, because we want to be here because of the will. The doer is there, the mental volition, the will, we want to live so strong, we want to be here. So that's like we have consciousness, because if you want to live, nothing to be conscious about, isn't it? No consciousness, everything stopped. We don't have that, but we are the one, we want to come back. Our beings is so strong, want to be here is so strong. So that's why sometimes, it's very common where quite many people come to me, like when they have the experience, when the body when they have the experience of body disappearing, they're so scared. I have people like, when they have experience of body disappearing, then because you think that, because I experienced this again, because she thought that this will be, she will attain Nibbana. I said, no, not yet. So I don't want to attain Nibbana, I want to come back. Scared, I don't want to come back. They said people talk about Nibbana. Are you really ready? Not coming back, it's quite scary. Then for her, then after that she don't dare to meditate. Because of the fear of not coming, because it's so strong. Our underlying tendency, our view of our want to be here, want to live, want to be exist is so strong. Actually, many people don't know how strong that views that want to be exist is. So when they have experienced this, I don't want to meditate, I want to come back, I don't want to attain Nibbana, and even convert to Christianity, be a Christian for a few years and come back again. That's no. The fact that you want to come back, you definitely will not attain Nibbana. You still come back, you be reborn. You don't worry, you come back. I said. Yeah, sometimes it's like people talk about Nibbana. I think many people think that Nibbana is a place, you you go there happily ever after. Nibbana, that is extinguished, nothing. Like the flame, the fire gone, nothing left, not coming back. And actually very scary to many people. They just don't want, And that's why when I say, don't worry about it. When you're ready, you have enough, isn't it? You have enough, then you don't want to come back, But you don't have enough, you come back. It's not right or wrong, isn't it? So you keep practicing to a point that, okay, I have enough. Okay, not coming back. So sometimes I said not to worry about that. You just keep practicing. What can you do, isn't it? But not to worry about that, I said to a point when you have enough, okay, you're not coming back. You give up, Sometimes people even very sick. They still want to live. Isn't it the will of living, that want to stay on, holding on is so strong. So sometimes most people don't even know how strong, they want to exist, being exists is so strong, and to be here is so strong. So the last one, when a noble disciple has thus understood the taints, the origin of the taints, the cessation of the taints, and the way leading to the cessation of the taints, and he entirely abandons the underlying tendency to lust. He abolished the underlying tendency of aversion, extirpates the underlying tendencies to views and conceit I am, and abandoning ignorance and arousing true knowledge, he here and now makes an end of suffering. In that way too, a noble disciple is one of right views, who views it straight, who has unwavering confidence in the Dhamma, and has arrived at this true Dhamma. That is what Venerable Sāriputta said. Bhikkhus were satisfied and delighted in Venerable Sāriputta's word. So that's the end of these suttas. So right view, Sammādiṭṭhi. So it's covered, It's quite a deep suttas. It's cover Four Noble Truth and Dependence Originations. Okay. So any questions or comments? Okay. Yes.
I wrote my question down, so it's easy to formulate. So you said, it's Ajahn Hasapanna.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is about practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. Oh, thank you. So you're walking the path. I'm going to ask a question about practicing the Eightfold Path. Is this a reflection on the actions I've done? So for example, if I think back an action, I was selfish at that time, so that was my ignorance. I didn't see the suffering of my attachment at that time. Next time I will give more or something, right? Or is it a awareness in the moment? Oh, now I am being selfish. I am attached to myself, so I am perpetuating my suffering, so I should give now, right? Or is it a bit of both, one or the other, or both? What would you say to that, Venerable?
Okay. So you'll be able, at that moment, you'll be able to see that some of your tendency, that is what you means, that causes you suffering, okay? And that is already first step. It's very good because you have to have enough clarity to see especially your own defilements. Because it's so too close. We tend to find fault with others. We tend to blame others for our own suffering. But to be able to see inside, and then to be able to see that is already first step. Is already very good, So that is that the first thing you have to be able to, you recognize that is good. So then when you recognize that, you have to be able to acknowledge it. Sometimes we see it. Actually, we have the underlying tendency of resentment because of our ego, a sense of I'm not like this, We tend to justify, I have this because of this and that, that I'm able to acknowledge, okay, yeah, recognize that it's there. Okay, acknowledge that. And then sometimes people acknowledge that they're unable to accept that. The acceptance is also letting go. It's okay. I'm not there yet, Of course, sometimes I've been, I'm still selfish, or sometimes I still do stupid thing, It's fine. But at least you see that your underlying tendency, you see that this causes a suffering, and that is already a big step, Some people don't even know, not even aware. So I remember someone said to me that we are conditioned So then, we being conditioned. Then sometimes we think that we make our choice. Actually, we are not. We're being brainwashed, being conditioned. Like, for example, we watch all these advertisements keep telling us this is good for us. And then after being brainwashed for a while, then we will choose that particular brand because it's always in the advertisement. Actually, we're being brainwashed without knowing that. But we think that this is our choice, But this is not, Then he said, if everything conditioned, how am I come out of it? And I said, yeah, no, you can't. Then he said, then I said, until you see it, until you recognize that. If you can't recognize that, what to let go of? You don't even know that. You don't even know that you have this tendency. You don't even know that you're attached to this, isn't it? You don't even know that at all. I said, that's why the practice of the Noble Four Path actually is a path of purification. So this path of purification, because of our impurity, so our mind, we hinder our mind like we're being blind, we can't see all the blind spot, we can't see that. And then we have more clarity because of the clarity is come from our purity. Then we Peter say, we can see. Because when your mind is foggy, confused, you can't see, isn't it? But when you develop the Noble Four Path, actually, this is the whole path of practice. You have to have sila is important, morality, and then meditation to develop stillness of the mind, and your mind become purer and purer, and and with the purity, your mind is have more clarity. Then you'll be able to see things more clearly, and then this is where your wisdom, the truth you see, it's because most of the time we think that we know, but actually it's not. Actually, we only know the concept. We don't really actually know, That is you have to have your true direct experience. It's not someone knowledge, someone tell you. And someone tell us it's just, we just knowing the knowledge, just the concept, So then, be able to see that, then the next step, I said that until you see that, only you can change. If you don't see, you can't change. So the first step, you have to develop the clarity. Without the clarity, you don't even see. Sometimes, some of the things we don't even aware that we are doing it. Like subconsciously, we keep doing certain things. We have certain tendencies, certain reactions. We don't even know that we've been doing that. Until one day after practicing, we realize, oh, I've been doing this. That is really, you see. That actually, when the moment you see that, it's just like the awakening moment, Actually, you can drop very quickly. You can let go very quickly. But before that, it's very difficult. You're still holding on to that, Then you accept it. Okay, they come to a place of acceptance. And then forgive and let go. So the letting go also takes, a few steps, And it's normal. We all have the underlying thing, because come from our senses of our ego, not that resentment, not accepting. We tend to push it away. No, not me. So it's then actually that is the Buddha said is a gradual training. Sometimes you can say, actually sometimes even being able to accept who we are, to accept our defilements, also take times. We accept a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Eventually, people, okay, I be able to make at ease and at peace with who I am. It takes time, bit by bit, little by little. And then one day you can feel that you relief when you be able to let that go. You can feel the sense of relief. You feel the sense of freedom. You feel free. You feel like you've been carrying, things with you so heavy all this time, And the moment you let that go, you feel, oh, I'm so free. You feel the sense of that, So actually, it takes. It's a gradually, You cannot say, oh, I see this go away. Then it's easy. Everybody got enlightened. Actually, sometimes even you see it, you know, like for example, like for Sotapanna, first stage of enlightenment, like like the stream winners, you know, and second stage of enlightenment, Sakagami, Anagami, Arahant, they all see non-self, but on a different level. So that's why we do, when we practice, we do have that wisdom, but on a different level of wisdom. So, and it's gradually, you know. So yeah, that's like, this is how the practice, you know, and yeah. So actually be able to see that is already very good, you know. And then, you know, yeah, and then you investigate, you know, but you, for example, you find that, you know, you sometimes like you find that maybe giving is good for you, you feel good, it's helped you. When you meditate, it support your meditation. Oh, then you give more, you practice more generosity, because sometimes they said one of the four routes to power, that the four Iddhipada, one of that is investigation, the investigation of how the investigation of your mind, that sometimes the reason why we cannot, you know, sustain, you know, on a particular object, sometimes also because of we lack of investigate. We have to investigate what we lack of. Sometimes maybe, you know, we are not happy, you know, sometimes we need to give more, or maybe our sila, our morality is not strong enough, so then maybe we have to restrain more, you know. And this is how then only we have progress in our practice to empower our meditation. So we to practice the Noble Four Paths, actually you have to develop, you have to have other qualities to support. It's not that you just sit there, meditate. No, it doesn't work like that. You know, you have other qualities. So we have to, you know, actually we are our best teacher. We know what are the qualities we need, what are the things we need to strengthen. Maybe we have to strengthen mindfulness. Maybe our mindfulness is not strong enough. Then we will practice present moment awareness, apply that more in our daily life to strengthen your mindfulness. So I don't know whether this answers your
Thank you, Venerable. That
questions.
answered in a very excellent way. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. What is it? So this is it. Is it not useful at the beginning to cling to the 5 precepts? For example, and I find it helpful for me. Actually, is that it's not that. This is where when he said that of keeping, he find it. She said that. Is it not useful at the beginning to cling to the 5 precepts? I think maybe just now we talked about people thinking that, you know, it's only 5 precepts enough. So of course, at the beginning you have to start with morality, you know. But if you don't think that that's enough, that's all, you know, and then that will not help you to liberation. Now, of course, you know, it's good, but it's different from when it's different from attachment. Like keeping precepts, you have to understand that it's being useful to you, it's being helpful, and give you so much joy and happiness. But not, you don't really stop there. No, that's why just now we talk about the clinging, you know, and then that's why he said that is. At the beginning, yes, we come from that. So you're clinging to keeping 5 precepts rather than not to keep, isn't it? So at the beginning we still, you know, have that kind of your attachment won't go immediately. At the beginning, we practice, of course, we have that. So it's normal not to worry about that. And slowly as you practice and the letting go, the clinging actually come gradually, especially when you develop your wisdom. You can't just let go like that unless you can see that. If you can't see, but it's fine to me. It's like, you're attached to keeping 5 precepts rather than attached not to keep it. Isn't it? It's still a better. That's why some people say, I said, don't worry, at least you're doing something. Like, for example, when we said that, sometimes how strong our sense of self, sometimes even we being kind also, sometimes we want to please others so that, other people praise that, yeah, so kind, so good. So I said, it's still okay, isn't it? You're still doing something good, even come from the sense of self, come from the attachment, but you're still doing something that is also, rather than you're doing something harming someone. I said, it's okay. It's just at different level, you're just not there yet. It's okay. I said, you don't expect yourself like everything you come, that don't have sense of self. Only Arahant have no sense of self. Of course, you see a sense of self. I said, don't worry so much about that, Of course, sometimes you still have attachment. The attachment don't go away so quickly, At the beginning, we still clinging on to things, clinging on to our possession and things like that. The Buddha said they said the Buddhas again and again said it's a gradual training. Slowly. So not to worry if you're attached to keeping precepts, fine. It's just that because here the teaching, actually the Buddha is referred to like more refined. The practice is on that level, It's not on the preliminary level. So he is the teaching here, the Sāriputta is more on that level, that, on the enlightenment stage, that is that of course is different level. So it's okay, it's fine, even at the beginning, if we are attached to that, never mind, it's fine. Yes?
Ajahn Hasapanna, you just answered my question. Can I say something? Yeah.
Okay.
There's no doubt that Sāriputta was trying to tell the Sangha, but that's at the higher end level, extreme level. Yeah. He was saying that it is clinging and craving and clinging, causes suffering, and then the eightfold path, okay?
Yeah.
But in actual practice, it's a different thing, isn't it? You say it's a gradual training.
Yeah, because you at that level, if you want to attain enlightenment, like that level stage, even this is not good enough. Just keeping precept is not good enough. If you want to that level, to free yourself, to attain the final liberation, that just the precept is not good enough. But it's not that it's bad, holding on to that. It's not that you're doing something bad, Yeah. So it's okay, yeah.
How do you see the Buddha saying the path towards enlightenment is the middle way? How would you see middle way compared to this sutta?
Middle way is not extreme. Like people tend to go, for example, people tend to go swing from one end to another, and then that is like for example, they're doing all the ascetic practice. They think that they can cut off suffering if they do all these things, bring them pain, but then not to eat and things like that, but it's too extreme. So we do need some energy. So you have to go, This is how sometimes, when, like for example, we tend to swing, like for example, we say, okay, you have to learn to let go. And then people will go, okay, ask me to let go. Then they swing to another way, don't care, everything don't care, couldn't care less. And then we tend to swing, and then because we are not there yet. So each time, we swing too much to this side, then we too much to this side. Then actually, as we actually, middle way is also wisdom. As you grow, as your wisdom grow, and you have more clarity, your swing will be less. So your swing will be, less and less and less. That's the middle way. So of course, it's normal that we sometimes go too far. Then okay, we realize it's too far. Then we come back this way. Oh, it's a bit too far, Then, so actually it's normal that we have the swing. So of course at the beginning, maybe the swing will be like this. Then as we progress, our swing will getting smaller and smaller. Then middle way. Actually, middle way itself is also wisdom. So you have to have the wisdom to be able to really practice middle way. But of course, it's a gradual training. You're not just like that, you get there. So you just, you try and then you make mistake and then, go, so it's okay, too much this side, you go back this side, Like for example, sometimes our weakness is also our good qualities, But sometimes, like for example, you go too much, that it becomes our weakness. For example, sometimes it's good to be, assertive, like okay, firm to say no. But sometimes too strong, you becomes like, And sometimes like for example, we have people like, very difficult, very difficult to say no, always very gullible, and then, and then, but then they doesn't know how to say no, and then to know her limit and things like that. Then, but they said but sometimes, our weakness also can become our good qualities, Then sometimes that if someone, like for example, very strong, very firm, that's it, very assertive type of people, then you have to be softer a little bit, And that's why sometimes, that you actually we are our best teacher. We have to see where, it's a bit too much on this side, and then we come to this side, too much on this side, Yeah.
It's good that you say it's a gradual training.
Yeah, it's a gradual.
For a newcomer who sees this, so extreme, I can't do this, It's a gradual training.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sometimes, or maybe I have to be more, assertive, Sometimes being assertive is not bad, And if some people are a bit more, gullible, you can't, like no backbone type of people, then you have to be, you have to have that, But you cannot just, let go, and then you swing to the other side, Yeah.
Also, we have to be true to the practice. We have to be true to ourselves.
Yeah.
If you're at that level, we can't just jump up the things. Then we find, to the harsher level. Then we find ourselves in difficulty. We have to be true. Like how much we can practice, what level we are. We have to be true with that. You see what I mean?
Yeah. They said actually we ourselves is our best teacher. Other people only can give you the advice, but ultimately you know yourself, where, But people can give you advice, but ultimately we can't really actually know, and you know for yourself.
Yep. Good one.
Yeah. So any more questions? No more? Okay. That's the end.